Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Jason, certified financial planner and host of Fighting Words Financial. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that nobody wants to talk about, and that is divorce. I want to talk to you specifically about divorce and your retirement plans. So one of the first things you need to know about your 401k or your 403b, 457 plan, etc. when you go through a divorce is you can't just pull out money yourself on a whim to satisfy that divorce settlement. A judge has to sign off on something called a qualified domestic relations order. That order confirms each spouse's right to a portion of the money, and it's actually going to have specific numbers mentioned in it. So this order is very, very important for each party in the divorce because it's going to let you off the hook in terms of any taxes that might be owed for an early withdrawal or penalty on distribution from the plan. Unfortunately, you don't get blanket qualified domestic relations orders or QDROs as they're called in the industry. You have to get one for each account that you and your spouse have. The order is going to spell out exactly how much in either dollar amounts or percentage the receiving spouse is going to get. You don't need a QDRO to divvy up an RIA, but there's a separate process there called transfer incident to divorce, which is also going to help you avoid taxation and help you split the assets. The second thing to know is that state law is going to dictate how those assets are divided up. So each state has different laws regarding how assets are treated prior to, during a marriage, and when you split up. Things are a little bit different in California than they are in, say, Texas or South Carolina or New York. So knowing your local law is pretty much key to your individual situation. Now, because state laws vary from place to place and also situations in marriages vary from place to place, if you have sort of an equitable arrangement under the law in your particular state, the court looks at different factors in your marriage, like your financial situation or each spouse's financial situation, each spouse's ability to earn income, and the length of marriage in order to divide a couple's assets in a manner that's really fair to both parties. What that really means, though, in most cases where the state is not considered a community property state, it's not going to be an automatic 50-50 split. Now, in a community property state, on the other hand, any assets that were earned during the marriage are considered to be owned jointly by both spouses, regardless who was actually responsible for securing them or purchasing them, who was earning more money or who was earning less money. In that case, you're each going to be entitled to half of the money held in the 401k. Of course, there's a couple of exceptions, including sometimes when a prenup is in place. Now, once you have your QDRO or your qualified domestic relations order in hand, you do have a couple of different distribution options. Now, spouses that are on the receiving end of those 401k distributions after divorce have three basic options to get the money. The first option, of course, is to roll the assets over into your own qualified retirement plan or your own IRA by requesting a direct transfer. Once again, this lets you off the hook in terms of any taxes or penalty that you might have to pay on the money. This is all being done under that qualified domestic relations order. Another option, if this is like a retirement plan that has a pension element to it or distribution element to it, another option is to simply defer taking a distribution until the account owner retires. If you decide to wait for that period, you can either choose taking regular payments out or you can get a lump sum according to the retirement plan. If you leave the money in the plan, though, you'll have to begin taking required minimum distribution starting at age 72 in order to avoid penalty. It used to be 70 and a half, but the Secure Act, that horrible act that was passed at the end of 2019, changed that to age 72. Now, in most cases, you can cash the balance out as well. This gives you greatest access to the money, but it can be pretty costly. Now, because of the CARES Act, of course, there's an added complication. If you're taking a distribution because of a qualified domestic relations order in 2020, you are allowed to take some distributions out without paying a penalty on them. But just because you got a divorce in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic, it doesn't necessarily mean that you qualify to take a coronavirus or CARES Act distribution and avoid that penalty for taking a distribution before age 59 and a half. If you haven't reached age 59 and a half at the time of the payout, you may have to pay income taxes as well as a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Now, divorce is very, very difficult. I mean, marriage is difficult. I'm not ever going to judge anyone for getting a divorce. I think being married is one of the most difficult and rewarding things you can do, but let me put a lot of emphasis on the difficult thing. People change over time, priorities change over time, and people grow apart. I'm not blaming anyone for that, but you have the option to not necessarily lean on state and local laws and to work out an agreement on your own. Even though state laws specify how much of your retirement assets your spouse is entitled to, you still have the option of working out some sort of independent agreement together. Now, if you and your spouse just simply can't see eye to eye on that and come up with some sort of fair division of assets, it might save you a lot more money and frustration to just go ahead and defer to whatever the local law is, wrap your divorce up, and move on. Okay, folks, I hope that helps you out. This is just a short primer on your 401k and divorce and what a qualified domestic relations order is. Literally, it is the order to split up your assets by percentage or by dollar amount. You need one for each one of your retirement plans. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day.